Hey guys, it's Steve here from Better Gamer Zone. Just bringing you the first video in the BGZ Stephen Learns to play Cho'Gath video series, and as the title would suggest, we are going to be playing Cho'Gath today. Found a nice little build on Mobifier. We've adapted it ever so slightly for 3v3, as I find 3v3 is a much nicer kind of learning curve. I have played Cho'Gath a little bit before, but I'm trying to put some new kind of best practices into place, learn how to land our skill shots and the like, to see if we can improve our gameplay considerably. In terms of skills, we're going to level up Q first, then E, ultimate whenever possible, and then W last, in that order pretty much. There we go, landed a Q on those guys in the bush there. As you can see, it does actually show up where people are as well. Not sure what Xin Xiao was doing there at all. You can't really go toe to toe with everyone like that at this level, and that's why I was a bit dubious about going for first blood, as it is a little bit risky sometimes. And yeah, just to give you a rundown of Cho'Gath as a champion, his passive restores 20 health and 3.5 mana per kill. We do have a distinct lack of escape utility. Niddly's down, and that was from a well-placed rupture there. As you saw, it just knocked her up in the air, allowed Xin Xiao just to get the last hit on her, which is very nice indeed. Gets back that little bit that we lost out from there on the first blood, really. His Q ability, Rupture, hits the ground. It's a skill shot. It hits the ground and knocks enemies up into the air, dealing damage, and slows them as well. It scales very nicely with ability power, which is primarily what we're going to focus on building. We almost got the rupture off nicely. You can see Scion coming down here. He almost got hit by the rupture then, and I would have turned around and used our W here, which is Feral Scream, just to do a little bit more damage. Cho'Gath does have some very nice burst. Feral Scream does damage. It's a conal attack, as you can see, and silences people as well as doing damage. Again, it scales very nicely off of ability power and does some nice damage. And the silence, while not majorly important against the champions that we're facing off against, is still very nice. One of the unique things about Cho'Gath is absolutely his ultimate, which is called Feast. For every rank of Feast we have, we grow in size, increasing our health and attack range. As you can see, Darius is going to go down there again. Xin Xiao is incredibly strong early levels. I mean, he wasn't obviously strong enough to take on all three of them at level 1 like he did when he ran into the bush, but incredibly strong. I tried to take that spear for him there, but to no avail. Cho'Gath's Feast ability increases his size, increases his health and attack range, which is incredible, and it just increases pretty much everything about him and makes him awesome. That builds some of the nicest, tankiest AP caster stats around, and especially with his ultimate also doing a huge amount of true damage, which is just ridiculous for taking people down. So unless, which I don't seem to have done so far, unless people start speccing or taking health items, the damage from our ultimate is going to take off a huge chunk of health. The only thing that we really need to be careful of is overextending and getting killed early on. The drawback to Cho'Gath's ultimate is that if you die, you lose stacks of his ultimate. It can stack up to 6 times, and I think it finishes off giving us, if we don't build many other health items, roughly 3,500 health, which is an incredibly nice amount of health. I think I dodged the Darius attack there. What I've been practicing recently has absolutely been the placement of Rupture and really trying to get it behind champions as opposed to in front of them, because I think in 3v3 especially, most people's natural reaction is to... Oh crap, that was bad. Most people's natural reaction is to run backwards, and that usually pretty much ensures that you're going to get the kill, or not the kill, the hit on the Rupture as well, which is a nice little tactic I found, because I am notorious for missing stuff like skill shots. I'm not particularly great at them at all. Just ignore that both enemies are missing. We're going to try and farm up as much as possible, because we do want to become as tanky as possible later on. And we do have Xin Zhao, who obviously is going to be getting in there and getting his hands dirty, but we want to be able to take a few hits as well. And what we're going to do is actually build a number of health items, such as Rod of Ages, which is going to be our first item that we pick up. As soon as we've got 850 more gold, we'll pick up a Blasting Wand, which will help develop nicely into the Rod of Ages. It gives a nice chunk of health and mana, as well as also on leveling up, giving some nice on leveling up, it does give some nice regeneration bonuses as well, because it regenerates health and mana upon leveling up. As with most conal attacks, the actual range seems to be slightly increased from that which it actually says you'll be able to get. So I did try and really push the limit of that attack on Darius there, but it didn't quite connect. Just to give you a quick rundown, our E ability as well, Vorpal Spikes, adds that AoE damage to our auto attacks, which also scales off of ability power. Again, it's one of those unique things that makes Cho'Gath able to actually deal decent damage from an AP build, even up close, even with auto attacks. So that is quite nice, and it's a nice little harass as well for laning. Because if say there's an enemy behind minions that you're attacking, you can also get hits off on them while just attacking the minions. But it seems like at the moment, at least, our lane is way too aggressive to allow us to do that. As we saw there, the positioning of this Rupture actually seems to be working out a little bit better. Although I'm always a little bit nervous really when it comes to Nidalee, because those spears hurt a lot. The only benefit really is that she's on free rotation this week, which usually means that people aren't quite as accurate or as skilled or whatever you want to say about. They're not generally quite as good with them as they would be if they were their favourite champion, or whatever you want to call it. Jungle minions, with this much lane harass that we're getting at the moment, it's best just to grab as many of the jungle minions as we can, I think. and see what we can do. I've seen a lot of 5v5 games where Cho'Gath heavily builds as an off tank, or even in some cases as a main tank for a team. And because of his ultimate, he really can build incredibly. Tanky. As we can see here, we've got 1,783 health versus 1321 on Xin Zhao, and what's Diana got? 1140, so 1,700. It's a nice chunk of health, and that's not even with the Rod of Ages or anything like that, so we really haven't picked up anything to give us that additional health either, other than obviously our Catalyst Protector, which gives us a bit of extra health. But what we'll do, got enough now just to go straight back, pick up our Rod of Ages, and now that's taken us to up over 2,000 health, which is 700 more than Xin Zhao, and almost 1,000 more than Diana. I mean, admittedly, Diana's got a shield and things like that she can use, but it's just this pure health will really start to make a difference late game, and especially against somebody like Darius who deals true damage. While we will build some form of armour in a little while, in the form of something potentially Woogle's Witchcap, depending on how much we're focused, because we really don't want to lose our stacks of Feast that we get. Speaking of Feast, I should pick up another stack. We just missed the missed it on. If you guys aren't going to pick up this farm, then I will. As you can see, Cho'Gath is incredibly good at farming and clearing out waves. Just as Rupture and Feral Scream there can take out pretty much an entire wave of minions, even at this low level with this little ability power. It does a serious amount of damage and packs a good punch. You can see Nidalee. See if we can steal her jungle mobs. There you go, nicely done. See Scion up the top. Haven't seen Darius in a little while. Well, it's not really too concerning. Even if he jumps us, we took, in terms of summoner spells, Flash and Ghost. Given that we're playing in a solo blind pick game, I never like to play it too risky, and I like to have as much escape utility as possible. Whoop. See Nidalee in the jungle here. As you can see, Darius, even when attacking me from completely pretty much unawares. Oh man, that was not good. Let's see if we can. I'm not going to engage on that actually. That's not a good idea. Unfortunately, Scion got the stun off there, but I don't think Diana would have turned around and re-engaged, and I would have probably lost some of my stacks there. She may end up just raging, but all three of them ended up being there, which was never going to end well for all of us, to be honest, after Xin Zhao got taken down early. See if we can harass Nidalee. And just push her back a little bit, take some damage. Oh man, this is not looking good actually, I don't think, for our team. I can see Scion's got his ultimate on there, so I'm not going to go anywhere near him while he's got that on, because that gives him, I think, some ridiculous, like 100% lifesteal, as well as a bunch of spell vamp and things like that. So even if he's speccing AP Scion, which it doesn't even look like he is, so even AP Scion will do a hell of a lot of lifesteal and such. We've got a nice chunk of change here as well. And what I think we'll actually probably do is go and pick up something like a Glacial Shroud or something of that nature, just to beef us up a little bit, as our guys are struggling slightly. We'll pick up the Magic Penetration Boots and Glacial Shroud. to give us a little bit of extra survivability. It's the only one that's AP is Nidalee, and to be honest, she's not really giving me any reason to be concerned. Diana is in a little bit of trouble, so we're actually going to jump up here. We do need to run a little bit here. As you can see, the ultimate there dealt a lot of true damage to Sion. It was meant predominantly as a means of scaring him away, because he was fairly beefed up, and I think he is fairly well fed as well, to be honest. Let's have a look. No, he's only 2-1, but he could end up being a little bit of a challenge, so we'll probably end up going for a Frozen Heart later on in the game. Seeing how these guys are building, there's only none of them have actually got any magic resistance at all. So this little bit of magic penetration that we've got on our boots here should actually shred any real semblance of magic resistance straight off of them, and almost start doing true damage from our abilities. Let's head up, clear off this minion wave. I get the feeling that it's probably going to be a good idea to stick closer as a team now, because we don't want to start giving away unnecessary deaths. I mean, we are relatively well done in terms of farm. Just taking these jungle mobs because I think Xin Zhao's got 5 kills, and while I haven't died, I haven't got any kills yet either. It's a little bit slow this early on in the game, to be perfectly honest. There's a Nidalee trap in the jungle there. I think Sion was up the top, so yeah, we need to back off. We need to back off. That was really stupid. Yeah, we'll back all the way off. What we'll do, you can see Nidalee in the jungle there. He's possibly going to get a stun off, but he's not quite quick enough for that. So we'll pick up the Glacial Shroud, get some additional armour, just regen back to full. We're 13 seconds roughly away from our ulti, and that'll deal a nice amount of damage, although we do need to start stacking a bit more ability power to try and push things forward as well. So we'll probably end up going for something like Rod of Age. No, we've already got Rod of Ages. What should we go for next? Abyssal Scepter will actually make a half decent damaging item. It lowers the magic resistance of nearby enemies, and also increases our wow. Please, Diana, just run. That is... these guys are being really silly, and in all fairness, I should have probably gone for Darius with my my ulti rather than Sion, but we'll just defend the tower here. We're nowhere near as well fed as Sion is now. He's got 4 kills, so a decent chunk of gold there. Very fortunate there, Nidalee. Very fortunate. Yeah, ulti was up. Could have possibly used it, but she got slightly out of range before I cottoned on to the fact that I had it available. Yeah, I kind of screwed that one up a little bit. Sion seems to not be taking a huge amount of damage, although if he's doing well, he's possibly started getting a fairly decent chunk of health from his E ability, which gives him health every time he kills a minion and such. Oh, whoops, I accidentally just used flash there when I completely didn't mean to. That is really embarrassing. There we go. Oh well, we've got a nice little shutdown bonus there, so that should take us very nicely forward indeed. The yeah, my actual ulti isn't doing a huge amount of damage yet. I think that's predominantly because I went for the Glacial Shroud rather than straight for something such as Woogel's Witch Cap, which will definitely be pushing for next because of the additional armour. We'll leave the Abyssal Scepter for later if we do run into any issues, but right now I think the team is lacking a little bit of upfront in-your-face damage, so we'll grab that next. And for those of you who don't know, Woogel's Witch Cap gives you 100 ability power, and it also increases your ability power from other items by 20, I think it's 20 or 25, whoops, wrong button, 25%. So any other items that we've got that increase our ability power, they'll also get another 25% as well, which is incredibly nice, and will make our attacks do considerable amounts of damage now. And at the moment we're currently sat on 3,256. Oh man, this is not good. Yeah, there's absolutely no way you're going to take me down, I'm afraid. But I was not best pleased about trying to get into that fight at all, and my team have been performing not optimally, to be perfectly frank. So we're 1 for 0, so we aren't exactly bringing kills to the table or anything like that, but the rest of the team have fed them up ever so slightly, especially Diana. The main problem with people choosing champions that are on free rotation, Diana is an incredibly powerful champion, but not if you don't know how to play her, and by no means am I saying that I do, because I don't. But I've seen a lot of very bad Diana players since she came on free rotation today. And we'll just clear off these mobs. Ideally, we'll get to the point in a minute where we'll be tanky enough to pretty much take on everything. And we'll just tell people that we need to stick together now. No soloing, because otherwise we'll just get picked off, and it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. Even a tanky Cho'Gath with a ton of damage and a ton of health isn't going to change the outcome of a battle like that. Let's see. I think we're gonna. There we go. True damage from the ultimate tearing through. We could probably tower dive these guys, but I don't really want to take a huge amount of damage, and I certainly don't want to lose any stacks of feast at this point. Oh, slow down a little bit there. Oh, man, how did... I think Darius is going down here. And if Nidalee's not careful, we'll just take her down as well. Oh, if only we had... Oh dear, we're in a bit of trouble here. Hopefully Diana will get here in time. Ah, there we go, luckily. There we go. So managed to make it out of there without too many... Oh man, that's bad. Oh, drop back, drop back. Drop back. Yeah, so we're 3 for 0, so we've been playing quite conservatively, if I'm perfectly honest. But the main reason for doing that is if you start to lose your stacks of feast at this point, games can really go downhill. So we are playing incredibly safe. We'll move as a team to see what we can accomplish. And I think, to be perfectly honest, Scion's kind of peaked over his powerful section now, and we should start to be able to focus him down pretty quickly. Oh dear, we're about to lose our stacks of feast. Oh dear, that was not good. The Scion ulti took us down there. As soon as Scion gets his ulti up, it's pretty much game over. If he's got somebody to mash upon without being interrupted. No crowd control there, or we should have had some crowd control really from Diana, but she didn't bring a huge amount to the table there, which is bit disappointing, and we had somebody hitting on us from behind as well. I think it was actually Darius that was hitting on us from behind. So first death of the game, bit disappointing, but we will move on. And it's always disappointing actually to die this late on in the game, because you don't feel like you've earned this ridiculously long respawn timer. Fortunately, we only lost half of our stacks, so it should take us approximately 3 minutes to get back up to full, or just under 3 minutes actually. We'll just put back on our E. Xin Zhao down the bottom is looking fine, and we'll just crack on farming. And finish off. I think we'll finish off the Frozen Heart, because that'll be quite nice. And if we need to, build something like Aegis of the Legion or something of that nature. But Scion is definitely the troublesome player really at the moment. No doubt he's a signal that I was there as well. And I think they'll be pushing as a single coherent unit, whereas our team seems to be all over the place, and Diana is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, Diana's AFK, which is really helpful. Saying that, if we can get these guys on their own like this, we need to back off, and just move away. Diana really letting us down here by going AFK, which is really kind of screwing us up. So we'll head up, pick up our frozen heart. Hopefully Diana will make an appearance in a moment. I do hope. Otherwise it's pretty much a lost game anyway. Got our 6 stacks back, so looking fairly good again. All it's going to take now is just one good push. Where's Xin Zhao? No idea. Oh, I think he's dead, actually. So that's it's probably not his fault. I can't really do anything against Sion on my own. That's a mistimed, unfortunately a mistimed rupture. So I think unless Diana miraculously returns to the computer, that unfortunately this is going to be a lost cause unless we can pull something out of the bag. And it's getting to the stage at the moment where the respawn timers aren't particularly nice. We've got Sion with his ulti again. No Diana has really finished us off now. That is absolutely horrendous. I can't believe that Diana's done that. Oh, she actually is there. She actually is there because she just hit surrender. But anyway guys, even though it was a defeat, I hope you managed to learn something from the video and I hope it's been helpful. Please hit like and subscribe and you'll be kept up to date with all of the releases from the Better Gamers Own team. Thanks very much.